I know. Okay. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kaushacharunamardana Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurue Namah. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Yeah, the last one. Okay. Sana, you want to lead Om? Sana Bhavatu?
I forgot how it went.
That's okay. Okay. Next time, what we're gonna do is everybody will lead slows. Okay. So get ready to lead it for the next time. But this time we will put Krishu again on this hot seat here. Okay. Yeah, Raja.
Where's the Purnamidam in the...
Oh, that's not in the book, Raja. I will send you another book for that. That's not in the Gita. Okay, Raja? Okay. Come on.
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Sahano Bhunaktu.
Sahano Bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam Karavavahe.
Sahaviryam Karvavahe.
Tejasvina Viditamastu.
Tejasvina Vaditamastu.
Ma Vidvishavahe.
Mahavidvishavahe.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so for this one we all know, we repeated this. From this time we're gonna tell the, what it is today, the last time, and then we all know what it is about, right? So it is for between two people, right? The slok is between two people. It is, may Lord give us, both of us protect us, nourish us, and may Lord put us together so that we can generate a positive energy together. And may God may God help us not create any conflict between us. So this slok is always between two people. Either it is the teacher and a student, or it is two people working together, right? So that's where we start this, because we are studying this Gita and we have 2-3 people involved in it. So that's why we read this slok before starting our studies. Okay? Okay, next slok. Asuto.
No, you got it. Asatoma Satkamaya.
Asatoma Satgamaya.
Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya.
Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is lead us from unreal to real. So may God lead us from bright darkness to the knowledge, ignorance to knowledge, and may God keep us with peace, peace, and peace, right? So what did we do last time? Who's going to summarize real quick in 10 seconds? Okay. Come on.
So we learned about we learned what the Bhagavad Gita was. We read the first 10 slokas. We talked about how the Bhagavad Gita is the other type of
Smriti. You're right.
And
Yeah. Okay. So,
we
anyone
went
else?
over the whole summary of the 10 slokas.
We went over the summary of 10 sloks. So who can tell those 10 sloks, what was it about? I know you guys, did you guys get to see the video?
Yeah.
You got to? Okay. So what does that 10 sloks talk about? Yeah.
So in the first book, they started talking about how first couple they started talking about the divided both of the Pandavas and the books.
Kurukshetra.
Into two parts, like this part is my these are my children and these are your children.
Yeah.
So and then
Yeah,
And
no,
then-
you're right. You're right. Very close. Yeah.
And then Duryodhan was saying that Duryodhan was like getting kind of scared, saying they have all of these people being Arjun
Mhm.
and right.
Yeah.
But then he was like, but we have all of these people too, like Karn, me, Vishwapita,
Mhm.
you, Dronacharya. When he was
Yeah.
talking to Dronacharya.
Yeah. So the summarize is that we came to know what is the human problem in the first 10 sloka. What is the human problem?
That people divide between
My and others, right? So human problem is my. Everybody start doing, as soon as we are born, we start doing my mom, my dad, my book, my toy, my outfit, my bike, my team, right? My school. We do that, all these things. So it starts from my. Yeah, Raja?
Is it in the book you sent me whatever you were singing, or is it in a different book?
It's in that book, but when we sing, when I come to that slok, I will tell you that now, Alia, open up your page number. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So then that's the summary to the first 10 chapter. We got to know what's wrong in this. So just to give you a little bit more idea about Gita is divided into 3 parts. Chapter 1 to 6 is about I, me, right? Because Arjun is there, right? Arjun is representation of all of us. So it's I. 6 to 12 is about God. What is God? And then 12 to 18 is about the relationship of God and I. Right? So that's how Gita is divided into this. So we are in first chapter where we are talking about I. And in first slok, the problem of I is already been discussed. What is the problem of I? Is mine. Right? This is mine. So that has already been laid on the table in the right flush stroke. What is the problem? Now we have to find the solution. The whole entire Gita is written on finding the solution of this I-ness. Right? What we do, what is the problem? What is the solution to it? So today we're going to do from slok 11 to 20, right? So what we do is we recite it all together. One will lead. So Krish is going to lead again this time, but next time we will have everybody else lead one time, right? So he's going to lead. The slok is always of 2 lines, but then there are 4 parts to the slok, right? Every slok will have 4 parts. So we will sing the first part, second part, third part, fourth part, and then we will sing the whole 2 lines together, right? We will sing all the sloks together and then we will summarize it. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Alia, you can open your book to slok number 11.
I already have it open.
Awesome. So let's go and
Everyone ready?
No, wait.
everybody.
Yeah.
Saisha, can you help Swara to find everybody?
It
So
should be page 39.
in your book, it will be page 39.
Okay, everyone ready? Ayaneshu cha sarveshu
Ayaneshu cha sarveshu
yata bhagam avastita
yata bhagam avastita
Bhishmam eva virakshantu
Vishwam eva virakshantu
bhavanta sarva evahi
Bhavanta sarva evahi
Together.
Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yata bhagam avastita Bhishmam eva virakshantu Bhavanta sarva evahi
Tasya sanjanayan harsham
Tasya sanjayana harsham
Guru vruddha pitamaha
Guru vruddha pritamaha
Guru Simhanadam vinadyoche
Simhanadam vinadyoche
Shankam dadmo pratapavan
Shankam dadmo pratapavan
Tasya
Sanjaya harsham Guru vruddha pitamaha Simhanadam vinadyoche Shankam dadmo pratapavan
ततः शङ्काश्च भैर्याश्च
ततः शङ्खश्च भैर्यश्च
पनवानकगोमुखा
पनवानकगोमुखा
सहसैवाभ्यहन्यन्त
सहसैवाभ्यहन्यन्त
सशब्दस्तु मूलोऽभवत्
शब्दस्तु मलोऽभवत्
ततः
शङ्खाश्च भैर्यश्च पणवानकगोमुखा सहसैवाभ्यहन्यन्त सशब्दस्तु मूलोऽभवत्
ततः श्वेतैर्हयैर्युक्ते
ततः स्वेदैर्हयैर्युक्ते
महति स्यन्दने स्थितौ
महति सन्यने स्थितौ
माधव पाण्डवश्चैव
माधव पाण्डवश्चैव
दिव्यौ शङ्कौ प्रदद्मतु
दिव्यं शङ्कोत्प्रदमतु
ततः श्वेतैर्हयैर्युक्ते
महति सन्दने स्थितौ माधव पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यो शङ्को प्रदद्मतु नेक्स्ट
पाञ्चजन्यं ऋषिकेशो
पञ्चजन्यं ऋषिकेशो
देवदत्तं धनञ्जय
देवदत्तं धनञ्जय
पौन्द्रं दद्मु महाशङ्कं
पौन्द्रं दद्मु महाशङ्खं
भीमकर्मावृकोदर
भीमकर्मा विक्रोदर पञ्चजन्यं ऋषिकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जय पौन्द्रं दद्मो महाशङ्खं भीमकर्मा वृकोदर
अनन्तविजयं
Which page are we on?
Which page is 16th, guys?
42
42.
Okay.
Start.
अनन्तविजयं राजा
अनन्तविजयं राजा
कुन्तीपुत्रो युधिष्ठिर
कुन्तीपुत्रो युधिष्ठिर
नकुलसहदेवश्च
नकुलसहदेवश्च
सुगोसमनिपुष्पको
शुभोषमाणिपुष्पको
अनन्तविजयं
राजा कुन्तीपुत्रो युधिष्ठिर नकुलसहदेवश्च सुघोषमणिपुष्पको
काश्यश्च परमेश्वास
काश्यश्च परमेवाश
शिखण्डी च महारथ
शिखण्डी च महारथ
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च
दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च
सात्यकिश्च पराजित
सात्यकिश्च पराजित काश्यश्च परमेश्वास शिखण्डी च महारथ दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च सात्यकिश्च पराजित
द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयाश्च
द्रुपदो द्रौपदेयाश्च
सर्वश पृथिवीपते
सर्वश पृथिवीपते
सौभद्रश्च महाबाहो
सौभद्रश्च महाबाहु
शङ्कान् दद्मु पृथक् पृथक्
शङ्खादद्मु पृथक् पृथक् द्रुपदो द्रौपदेश्च सर्वश पृथिवीपते सौभद्रश्च महाबाहु हृदयानि वदारयत्
नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव
नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव
तुमुलो व्यनुनादयन्
तुमुलो वनुनादयन् सघोषो धृतराष्ट्राणां हृदयानि वदारयत् नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव तुमुलो व्यनुनादयन्
अतव्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा
अतव्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा
धर्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वज
धर्तराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वज
प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाति
प्रवृत्ते शास्त्रसम्पाते
धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डव
धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डव
प्रवृत्त
अथ व्यवस्थितान् दृष्ट्वा धृतराष्ट्रान् कपिध्वज प्रवृत्ते शस्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम्य पाण्डव. Good job. So now you got little bit how to read the slok. You got that part, right? How to read it. So Ken, who will do it next time? 21 to 30. Anybody volunteering? You do it? Okay, Sunday will do it. Good job. So guys, we already know that Duryodhan is praising his team as well as he is scared about the other team too, right? So he is in the fear zone but insecure zone about, hey, I'm so insecure that that team is really good, right? When we go for a game and we know that the other team is really good, what happens to our heart, right? We are in fear, in insecurity. That's where the stage we left Duryodhan in, right? Now next 10 shlokas is more about the situation in the battlefield, right? So what happened in olden days when somebody has to start the battle, what would they do? Yes? Cons. Yeah, so they start blowing their cons, right? So what did first do? So he was saying, Duryodhan was saying, hey, everybody support Pitama, right? And last look we left where that Duryodhan was telling his team saying, Pitama, who is the their
best one.
best, but what do you say, the
General.
army chief,
Oh,
army chief,
general.
he is the general of the team, right? So he's telling his team that you guys all support him whatever we decide, don't change the plan. However strategize we did this battle, that who's gonna go first, who's gonna go this side, who's gonna go that side, but nobody leave Pitama by himself. That's what he's instructing his team, because if Pitama goes away, then the team becomes really weak, and he wants to save Pitama till the end. So he gave the instruction that don't be surrounding of Pitama and don't let him fight by himself, right? So when Pitama heard this, that Duryodhan is getting really, insecure about himself, but he is also being insecure about Pitama. Why he's asking everybody to be surrounded? Can he not fight by himself? So when he heard that, he gets upset. He said, okay, you know what? Let me blow the shank and start the yudh. So he blowed his shank, which is cons for him. He started blowing it really loud to start, hey, now no more talking, let's start the war, right? So Pitama Bhishma is the first one who blows the shank in the Duryodhan's team. Then Duryodhan blow his shank and say, hey, I'm ready to, right? So in a couple shloks, like it's just talking about everybody blowing their shank. Now the difference what we have to see here is they talk about Pitama is the oldest one, right? In senior most one, he starts the shank first in Kaurav side, right? And then it goes with the Padvi. Then Duryodhan did, like their Padvi means their position. So what position they are in the military, they started blowing the shank according to their position, right? In here, what happens is when they heard the Kaurav side blowing the shank, they start blowing the shank too, symboling that, hey, we are ready too. If you are ready, we are ready too. So Krishna Bhagwan blows the first shank in the other team. and then Arjun blows it. Arjun is not the oldest one. You remember who is the oldest one? Yudhishthir is the oldest one, but Arjun blew the Shankh first in all the brothers, right? And then Bhim blew. Bhim was not the older one. So it did not go through the according to the position, right? Or according to their seniority. It went around according to their ability to fight. So who was the best fighter in the Pandava section? Arjun, right? So Arjun went first. Then Bhim, who was the second best fighter? Bhim. Then Yudhishthir went. Then Sahadev and Nakul went. So it was not according to the seniority or what position you belong to. It was about your capability in that field, right? So remember that your capability in that field, that's how it should go. Not according to the who is the best person or who is the oldest person that's gonna go. So just to look at the idea how the people who just depend on their, what position they are or older they are, that's why they get respected. Here it was like whoever is the best gonna go first, right? So that's how it goes. In all these 10 shloks, not much detail, but one thing I think you should know, it tells the name of everybody's Shankh. So it is the name of the Shankh, like what Shankh did Krishna blew, what Shankh did Arjun's Shankh name was there, Yudhishthir ke Shankh, what was the name of Yudhishthir's Shankh. So everybody's Shankh's name are there. So, but I want you guys to remember Krishna Bhagwan Shankh's name because we are related to him as a bhakt. So what would you, can anybody tell what was the Krishna Bhagwan Shankh? I can give you 5 seconds to look into the book if you can figure out what was the Krishna Bhagwan Shankh name.
Shlok 15.
I'm done.
Yes. What is it?
Panchajanya.
Good job. Panchajanya was his Shankh's name. What was Arjun's Shankh name? Let's say. What was Arjun's Shankh name? And Sanad, you don't get a chance.
The first word in the second part of 15.
Sure, you don't get a chance either.
No,
Let
just
somebody find
giving
it.
hints.
You got it? Read the word. Yeah, you did. You did. Deva Datta. Yeah, Devadatta. In the same shlok.
Oh, read
15
the definition
shlok.
of the shlok.
15 shloks.
Oh!
Devadatta. You got it? So, we just want to, but it's just the name. I don't want you to remember those Shankh's name for everybody else, but it just tells about the Shankh name. But here one thing, Sanjay, this is again Sanjay talking, right, to the Dhritarashtra. So here Sanjay, when he was explaining Krishna Bhagwan, he talks about that Krishna Bhagwan in his white horses, he's still glorifying Krishna Bhagwan in front of Dhritarashtra. He did not glorify anybody else, but in the shlok he says, Krishna with his 5 white Ashwa means horses, coming in the chariot and with the Arjun in there. So he just explained Krishna Bhagwan and his glory just for 1 second again in front of Dhritarashtra.
Yeah, in the shlok before it's like seated in a glorious chariot drawn by white horses.
Right? So he talks about the Rath and this Rath is chariot, right guys? Now, can I borrow your book for a second? Oh, I have it. Oh. So every Gita has this picture, right? Have you all seen this picture? Right. What does it say? Like it has a Krishna Bhagwan. What else do you see in the picture? Can you tell
5 white
other than
horses, an army next to them.
Krish, can I have everybody else talk, please? Okay. What do you see in the picture? Horses. How many horses are there?
3.
4.
3.
5.
3.
No.
That is 3.
No. Krish, you take it easy.
Oh, 4.
It looks 4, but it has 5 horses. Yeah, it has 5 horses in there.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it has either you count the legs, you will find 5, or you count the something, you will find 5. So it has 5 horses in it. What else do you see? So we so far figured out Krishna Bhagwan. We figured out 5 horses. What else? Arjun in there. Okay. Flag. What else?
Krishna.
Krishna. Yeah. What else? You see two armies behind it. Okay. So let me tell you where this picture came from.
In the background, you can see buildings.
You're all right. Rocket science here.
It says, look, see in the background. In the left side, the background. You can
Okay.
see buildings in the left side.
That's okay. If building is not of our use anymore.
Oh wait, it's not.
It's not.
It's like a pyramid.
Okay. So let me tell you a story where this
Wait, no,
picture
it's
came
part
from.
of the
Guys, let's
chariot.
come back.
Never mind.
Oh, it's part of the chair. It's a part of chariot.
How is that a part of the chair?
Look, the line that goes off.
Wait, what?
The line is connected to the.
Yeah.
Oh,
I knew that.
It's part of the chair.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about
Okay.
this.
You guys all see it? Come on, let's move on. Okay, let me tell you a story where this picture came from. This picture did not just came on the Gita. It was also in one of the Ved. In Upanishad. You remember Upanishad and Ved? We talk about it? In Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, it was already mentioned about this chariot and chariot story. So let me talk about a little bit about Katha Upanishad and tell you a story. So I'm sure that some of you guys have heard the name Nachiketa.
No.
No? Oh, guys. Okay. So we're going to talk about Nachiketa today. Swara, you know Nachiketa? No? Okay. We will talk about Nachiketa today. So what happened is one time Nachiketa was a son of a king. So this king was really nice, but he used to do lot of yagya. I'm equal? Okay. So he used to do lot of, the yagya that we said Agni sacrifice, the fire sacrifice. So he used to do lot of Agni sacrifice puja that we talk about. Like in Vedas, there is given the karma kanda that we talk about, right? Agni, the fire sacrifices. So he used to do a lot of fire sacrifices, and after that you give lot of donation or dan to other people, right? So he used to do a lot of dan. One time he was doing it, and his son, who was 10-year old, whose name was Nachiketa, he was sitting next to him, and he saw all the procedure that he was doing. And then he said, okay, you are doing this, and what are you going to do after this? And he said, I'm going to do donation of everything. So he started donating, and he started donating all his wealth, like lot of his wealth. And usually in olden days, donating cow was biggest thing. Like you are more wealthy if you donate the cow. So the wealth was depending on, how many cow you donate. So he started donating his cows. But then Nachiketa saw he was donating all his cows that cannot even give milk. They are old. So what is it of use when you are donating to somebody? It should be useful for the other person, right? Why would you donate somebody with that they cannot even use it? So he got really upset at his dad, and he said, Dad, what are you doing? Why are you donating the cows that are already cannot be used? And then Nachiketa dad was very busy in doing his job. He said, no, I don't want you to talk to you. Go mind your business right now. And he did not answer him back. But the kid was really curious, right? He was 10-year-old. How curious you are sometimes to get to know what's going on, right? So he was very curious. He kept coming and bothering his dad. So he said, who are you donating? What are you donating? Why are you donating? What is this? What is that? His dad got really upset, and he said, go get away from me. I don't want to see you. So he said, okay, will you donate me to death then? And the dad says, yes, I do.
Oh.
So when he heard that, he said, okay, I'm going to go die. So he went to Yamlok. Yamlok, you know who Yamlok is?
Yeah.
Yeah, after death, Yamraj come and take everybody's, when they are about to die, they come. So Yamlok is for Yamraj. So he goes to Yamlok and he says, I'm here because I want to die. So take me in so I can die, because my dad dishonored me and I want to die. So then the Yamraj was not there. He was going around doing his own business because he has a lot of people to make them die, right? So he was everywhere going to take people's life, and he was doing his own business. After 3-4 days, he came back and he saw that there was a kid sitting on the door. But he ignored the kid. He went in because he was so busy. He had so many lives to take again and make a chart who's going to die and who's going to not die, right? So he has to do all that data analysis. So he said, okay, let me go. I don't know who this kid is. So he went inside and he said, okay, fine. So the guy updated him on all 3 days what happened in Yamlok, whose water was out, whose things were not working, what was not working. And then eventually the guy, his secretary said, buddy, but there is a kid outside sitting there from 3 days, haven't eaten anything, and he is pushing that he want to see you. And he said, yeah, I saw him while I was walking in. And he said, oh, he hasn't eaten anything, he's sitting there for 3 days. And he said, yeah. So then how do you say it? Maharaj? Yamraj. I forgot about it. So Yamraj went out and say, hey buddy, what are you doing? Why are you sitting without eating? At least you should have eaten. Your body is gonna fade out. So the kid says, no, I'm not worried about body because eventually I'm dying. So why would I worry about the body? So tell me. So Yamraj like, oh, I'm obliged very much because you are sitting on my door hungry. I feel so bad about it. And you were sitting there for 3 days. So ask me 3 wishes, what you want, right? I will give you 3 wishes. So then he asked, he said, okay, I will ask 3 wishes if you want to. He was a very smart kid, right? Like Janvi and all these kids are so smart, Swara, and everybody is so smart here in this group. So he was 10-year-old, he was very smart. So what did he do? The first wish he asked? Well, he said, yeah.
I want to die.
I want to die, right? Anybody else guess?
Wait, shouldn't be the last wish?
No, this is his first wish, right? There are 3 wishes for him to ask. So the first wish, what would he ask?
For his dad to stop giving away
All the old cows. So, very close. What did he ask? He said, hey, when I go back. So, when I go back, my dad doesn't get mad at me. Right? So, he asked first that. Now, he is very smart. What did he say? First thing, he came to die. Now, what he's saying, like, I got in contact with the most high superior Yamraj, right? Who takes the life. So, let me ask for my life first. Give me back my life. So, he said, when I go back, he was very smart. So, he said, now what he already asked 2 wishes in one. One wish was, I'm not going to die, right? I'm going to go back. So he asked 1 wish and there were 2 wishes in it. When I go back, my dad would not get mad at me. So he asked that my dad would not get mad at it and I'm going to go back, right? The second wish he asked was, hey, my dad was always doing this fire sacrifice. What is the right way to do it? So Yamraj says, okay, let me tell you all these things about how to do these things, how is the right way, which we're not going to discuss today because we are not talking about this fire sacrifice. Then the third wish he asked, so Yamraj granted all the wishes so far, right? This is the last wish. He said, hey, I see that people get birth, they grow old, then they go older, then they fall sick and they die. What am I? What am I as a human being? Why I take birth and then I die and I go through this cycle again and again. So tell me the secret behind this human life or this living being. I want to know who am I? My real nature of I. So Yamraj was like, oh my God, this 10-year boy is asking about self-knowledge? That's too much. Let me give him some good toys, good places to live so he can be gone. So he said, I'm going to give you a lot of money, lot of things. You take all this and go. But the boy was very determined. Boy said, keep it with you. I don't want it because even if I take it from you, all these toys, once it's going to die. I'm going to die. Even if I take a lot of money from you, I'm going to die. How can I not die? Because I don't want to die. So tell me the secret behind this myself so I can be immortal forever. I don't want to die. So Yamaraj keep on telling him, no, please, take something else. But he did not agree. He said, I want to know this knowledge. Give me the knowledge of that. At that time, to explain the kid, he drove this picture. Right?
Oh.
He drew this picture, and I'm gonna tell you how he explained this picture. So, in this picture, you see the chariot, right? How do you spell chariot?
CHARIOT.
Okay, he see chariot, right? Chariot is representation of our body. Okay, chariot is body. Then you see horses. Horses is representation of our senses.
Because there's 5.
How many senses do we have? Krishu, don't break the
Five.
Okay, 5. I think. How about Risha? You tell me what are the senses? What are the 5 senses?
Smell,
Mhm.
sight, touch, feel. Hear,
Good job. So those are 5 senses that we have, right? So those are 5 horses in this picture, right? Now let's talk about the reins. So what is the reins? Reins. Do you know what is reins in this picture?
Yeah, the things that are controlled.
The control the horses, right? Things that control the horses. What is that? That's your mind. And now I will tell you mind, what is the difference between mind and brain. I will tell you that part too, okay? Then the driver, who is the Krishna Bhagwan in this picture?
You.
Driver, no. The driver is intellect. The driver is intellect, right? Now, so now you will say where I am I in this, right? So the passenger who is Arjun in this picture is your soul. You, that's you.
You as an individual.
We can say you, soul, we can say consciousness, etc. Brahman.
Atma.
Okay, you have a question, Beta?
Yeah. What is the meaning of intellect?
Intellect is the God.
Intelligence.
No, not your intelligence.
So intellect is the way which helps you decide to make decision in yourself. Like when you decide to wear the clothes when you go to school, right? So you decide this clothes to wear. Your intellect work on that, which one you. So every decision you make, it depends on your intellect.
Your decision making.
Decision making machine in our body is the intellect. Got it? Okay, so this picture is like that. Now, what's happening is, so this body is the chariot, right? Horses are the senses. Then reins is the mind. Driver is intellect, and then passenger, who is us, the soul. Everybody talk about soul once, right? In last 3 classes. Somewhere, somehow you talk about souls and Atman, and you talk about consciousness. That's all the passengers. So what am I is the passenger, right? And all these around me is all the other things. So now in this 5 things, what is the most important? So important thing to our life is body is important, right? Body doesn't go anywhere. You have to live with it, right? So body is important, but this 3 part, that's what I'm going to discuss about, which going to help you on living the life how you want to live, right? This going to give you answers to how to live your life, right? So we're going to talk about horses, right? The sense, mind, and intellect. Those 3. So now sense, let's talk about the sense. So you know what? If you are riding a horse, just one horse, think about it. And you have printed the map from internet to go from one place to another place. So let's say, Sunday, you want to go to Parthi's house. Parthi's house, and you have a horse, and you already know the direction, right? And you said, okay, horse, take me to this direction. Would horse understand?
No, it's not a genius. But they're very.
Yeah, so the horse will not understand, right? Because horse will do what he wants to do, right? He will take you to Ansh's house, right? He will not take you to Parthi's house. He will say, oh, I want to go because Ansh's house has a lot of grass in their backyard, which is very tasty. So I'm going to go to Ansh's house where I want to go, right? So that's how it's going to, the senses work. So the senses don't listen to your intellect. They listen, they have their own way of listening to themselves. So what does senses do to us? Right? Yes? They control you, right? We are controlled by senses. What are the senses? Like, oh, this tastes so good, right? I want to eat more. Or this touch is so good, I want to have that. I see movies that are really good. I want to keep seeing movies. I don't see this book. I don't want to read this book, right? So these are all control of your senses, right? So now I will tell you, there is the littlest cell of our body are on our tongue, the smallest cells, the primitive cells, like the taste buds, right? That can drag a big, huge 250-pound guy to a pie store, right? That's how the senses control you, that much. It doesn't matter how big you are, your senses will take you where you don't want to go, but they will take you, right? So we have to control the senses. So we have to control our horses. How to do that?
With the reins at the
Yeah.
How do you control the horse? Like, I will tell you, I will give you couple horses. How would you control them?
Rain.
How is the person is controlled? No. Training. Would you not train them?
Yeah, but you can just whip a horse.
No, you have to train them.
That counts as
right?
training, right? When you're like,
Ripping it also is training.
if you're whipping the horse to take you in a certain direction, that's counting as training. Because
right?
You're training the horse to respond to your whip with something.
Right? So training and making habits. I think it both goes together.
Which is the
Right? So training and making habit. Right? So how would you train? So I say, hey, every morning I will wake up early and I go to do meditation, or I'm going to study my physics because I have physics test. So I'm going to wake up early morning. That's your intellect thinking, right? You made a decision. Your intellect made a decision to wake up early morning to do it. But your body, did he make the decision? No, right? So who's going to get up from the blanket? It's the body who's going to get up, not the intellect going to get up, right? So body will say, fancy intellect, leave me alone. I'm going to sleep more. I don't want to study, right? So until you don't train and make the habit, then these senses are not into the control. Yes, Swara?
What does that say?
Training habits.
Habits. I'm sorry, I read that. B. I missed the B. Where is the pen? Let me make bright B. I don't know.
It's under your book.
I remember. Okay. So when you have to make a habit. Okay, fine, guys. Don't make fun of my handwriting. It's gonna be like this. I cannot change it now. This is already been trained, already been in the habit. I cannot change it
I
anymore.
would, but mine is 10 times worse.
Okay, that's okay. So guys, so what happens is senses, how do you control is only by training and making the habits. So if you do it, repetitive actions of those habits that are good, then you can control your senses. So thinking about, hey, I'm gonna only eat, Janvi, I'm gonna only eat 3 candies in a day, then what happens? Right? We're gonna be strict to 3 candies, right? That's how we're gonna do it. Right? So that's how the habits are formed by training it again and again. So you have to train your your testing birds, right? You have to train your hearing. Like I'm gonna hear these things. Like I'm gonna hear bad songs or good songs.
Good.
Right? So those are the things that you can control. Right? When you control your seeing, like are you gonna keep seeing the movies and keep playing the video games, or are you gonna see some good things? Right? It's also on your control, right? So that's how it is gonna go. So now training and making habits is very important for us to control the senses. That's where we start first, right? Because it's outside in. We are going outside in. This is the first thing that we have to do to make the decision, right? Then we go to the senses. Oh, so we control the senses. Let's talk about mind. And mind and intellect, sometimes we think it's the same, right? My buddhi, my intellect is my brain also, right? But they are two different things. Mind is the, who's going to tell me difference between mind and intellect? Let's start. Yeah.
Mind is like
Oh God, it's so sunny. We're going to go do the class inside next time.
mind
Yeah, it's so hot.
like something. It's a thing that makes you like.
It doesn't make the decision, but
Think,
it's
it doesn't.
thinking the decision.
Yeah, it thinks what you want to do.
Yeah,
Like
and then
if
the
you make
intellect makes
the
the
mind
decision.
says, I want to fly. You can't. Your intellect won't just make you fly. You can't make the decision.
Mind is more about feelings and thought. What is it? Okay, Sia was telling me something. Yes, Sia. Hmm? You changed your mind? Okay. Anybody else? You changed your intellect, right? Okay. Anybody else?
I guess.
Yeah. Tell me.
Okay, so your mind is like you see in the picture that the reins are like controlling the horses, right? So if your mind isn't strong,
No, don't go there. I'm just
oh,
asking
my
between
bad.
different
Okay.
mind and intellect.
oh my! So your intellect is like your decision making. Like the driver decides where to go.
No. Again, you are.
I got it. Okay. No, like the driver wants to go to a place, right?
Oh my
So your intellect chooses to go to that place to do something, right?
Okay, what is
But
mind?
your mind is so the reins just
No.
like you know they're just with the horse. Okay, I can't go further.
No, you cannot.
No,
go
I know.
there.
So the mind is like just like thinking the decision, and then the intellect actually like makes the decision.
Okay. Mind is the thought and the feelings.
That's what I said.
Okay, and intellect is the decision-making machine.
Exactly what I said.
No.
Yeah, I did.
No. I don't.
Mind is the man. In Hindi, we talk about man, right? Man is who is emotional. Talk about feelings, the thoughts that are coming and going. Those thoughts are mind. The intellect is the one that makes the decision on what is right and wrong. We make a decision based on our intellect, right? You got it? So now mind is the thing that controls so that's the next step, controls your senses. Now let's say mind. What can we do to have a good mind? Because it says that these three has to be good to have a good life. So what can we do to control our mind in the right direction? Yes.
You can like, I've heard one way you can like make your mind think of good things. You could repeat it out loud.
Mm-hmm. What else? Yes, Janvi? Then I will come to you. Train them? Yeah. Okay. What about you?
You can think
Practice?
about reins. Too.
Yeah. So
You
you're
can
talking
think
about
the reins and compare them. You can talk about the reins. No,
So
think
let-
about them and compare
I'm
them.
so confused.
Like
Okay.
you know how like we said senses you can train them as horses you train them, right? So you think about the reins, how could you
So I will say one thing is mindfulness. Have anybody heard this name, mindfulness?
mindfulness.
It's like the fullness of life.
Okay. So what happens is when we are thinking, like a lot of you guys are sitting here but thinking something else. Your thought goes somewhere else. oh, what's going on in my house? Is my mom cooking some good food, or you know that
I bet everybody's.
everybody started thinking now? Okay, so here is the thing. What happened is, see, most of the time as a human being, we don't live in the present. Where do we live? Past and
Future.
future. We don't live right here. So we lived in the past. We regret about past, our past incidents, and then what we do, we are anxious or we have anxiety about what's future going to bring us, right? So we live in those two parts. We don't live in the present. So living in the present is the mindfulness. Now, what happened is when we are, have you heard the word in Hindi sanskar? Inheritant tendencies. Like we have a tendency of doing some things, right? What do? Hey, when somebody that I like come close to me, I smile and I say hello. But somebody that I don't like, my smile doesn't even come, right? I just ignore them, right? So those things comes through the mind, right? Those feelings that I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling happy, all those comes through the mind. So what happens is when it starts from the first like, and then our mind keep drooling on it, keep thinking about it. Then it becomes a groove in our body. And then slowly, when we keep thinking about the same thing, what happens is it becomes a Grand Canyon. That big of groove, right? And then it sticks to us forever, right? So those are the tendency that goes with us and stays with us. Now what happens is when we talk about mindfulness, we have to talk about how we can stay and check our mind, what is thinking, few times in the day, right? So let's say it works as default, right? If I keep on smiling at Sunny all the time. So if Sunny comes, I don't have to think that I have to smile. What's going to happen? I will smile automatically, right? I don't even have to think. I don't have to think. And if somebody else come and I don't know them, I will not smile. It comes automatically, right?
Smile.
I will, it comes by itself, right? It's a default. But keeping check on it, that whether I'm doing it or not, right? That's what mindfulness is. So when you are thinking like all day, am I thinking about future a lot? If I am, then it's wrong. Let me come to the present. Oh, I'm regretting about past a lot? Oh no, let me come back to the present. So mindfulness is bringing yourself back to the present and thinking what your mind is, keep thinking about it. Going checking once in a while what my mind is thinking. So in a day, at least we have 10,000 thoughts that come in our, more than 10,000, not just 10,000. More than 10,000 keep coming and going, leaving our mind. So what we have to do is, we have to check at least 5 times. Hey, what is my mind thinking now, right? So having that check will help you with the mind, having a good mind, right? Now let's come to the last but not the least, the intellect, right?
The hardest.
It's the hardest. What happens in normal routine? When a thought comes to us, the sense organ has driven that thought or has initiated that thought. It comes through the mind. Our feelings put the thoughts together, and then it throws to intellect to make the decision. But the intellect have very few seconds to make the decision. Very few seconds. If you don't catch that thought in that few seconds, if your intellect doesn't catch, what's going to happen is
Then you'll keep saying yes.
you're going to say yes or no depending on what your sense organ said and what your feeling said.
Yeah.
Your mind never got to think about it.
Intellect. Like
Intellect,
if
right.
you see something sweet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then your senses initiate a thought saying, "Let me go eat that." Your mind then forms it into thought. Like your senses see that.
Uh-huh. And then
Oh
mind
look,
says
and
it.
then your mind forms into, "Let me go eat that." Then your intellect.
Yeah.
If you don't say no,
Yeah.
then it'll
It-
go to based on your senses, and since your senses want you to eat that,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll go and eat that.
Yeah. So you got that point, right? What happened? Tell me. No, she was saying something. No. Okay. So what happened is it's very small window that we have to catch on the decision making thing, right? So when the first thing that we discuss, like when we want to get up early and study, right? So intellect had very small window. Like at 5:30, your alarm start coming, it start ringing, and then you said, oh, whether should I wake up or should I not?
And
Right?
your senses say.
And your
no.
senses says, no, it's cozy in here. I don't want to wake up in this cold weather.
No one cares about your mind. They just care about your sense of interest when it comes to decision.
Right? Yes. And then the mind also will say, okay, no, yeah, that's right. I'm feeling so good here, so happy in this bed. I don't want to get up. So mind and senses control. Now, there was only few seconds that your intellect had to make the decision of getting up. But then what happens is you shut down your intellect. And there you go. You woke up at 8:30 when it's rushing to the school and taking the test. Right? So that decision making power has the smallest time to make the decision. Right? So now life throws two things all the time to you. The two things is good and pleasant.
Pleasure.
Good and pleasure or pleasant, right? So two things always come to you. One will be good and the other will be pleasant or pleasure. Nanu like pleasure, so we will put pleasure. So all the decision, let's say you guys tell me one thing that you have to decide, anything that came in your mind, and you have to make a decision. And what were the two options that you had? Let me give somebody else a chance, then I will come to you, sir. Anything that you have to decide. No, wait. Yes, please.
Like any decision,
Any decision that you had to make, and you had two options.
what to wear.
What to wear? You have to make a decision, right? So, what did you what were the options? Shorts or leggings, right? Okay, so let's say shorts says, what is the positive about shorts?
It's you will be hot.
It will be hot. What is the positive about the leggings? It could be cold, right?
But-
Well, yeah.
Yeah.